welcome to anyone who's joined. How are we doing? Let's do this. Hoping this is gonna work. Hang on, chat. Hang on. Hang on.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I think
Stanley
I fucked up my
worked for a company in a
settings.
big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push.
No, we're okay. Okay, we're alright. We're alright.
How long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite
What's
forget.
happened with Stanley?
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Hey,
But as he
Ultimate,
came
how are
to his
you?
wits and regained his senses,
Whoa.
he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
We are.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yo, the movement on this. How are you anyway, Ultimate? Where the fuck's the meeting room?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
bless ya.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to
I
his
hope work
boss's
goes okay.
office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Apparently I don't know how to make movements.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
This
upstairs
is
to
Stanley
his boss's
Parable.
office.
I've seen some of this. I've heard a lot of people rave about it, so...
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
So yeah, there's loads of different endings and stuff. It's very weird. It's very weird. Very weird. But I do like this game. It's a very bizarre game.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now?
What time you
when
got
for
what?
years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ooh. Oh, bless you. Hey, Craig, how are you?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the
How are you,
strength
Craig?
to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number
This
of
is
an
so
employee in
weird.
the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
This is so bizarre.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was
Oh,
happy
bless
with his
you. How long
boring
you got
job?
left to
That
work?
his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No.
Let's go.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it
Thank
even
you for the
possible?
luck.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley
so
decided
weird.
that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Oh no, I messed up.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand,
It's-
there's only so
I
much
don't know
that
how to
machine
describe
can do.
it, like,
You were supposed
it's
to let
such
it
a
go.
weird
Turn the
mindfuck.
controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification,
It's so
nuclear
weird.
detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your
I don't
story
know.
now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know
I don't
where
know
to
what the fuck
start.
is going on.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink
I've
into the
told myself
ground,
that.
swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take
This
back
is
the
such a
control wrested away
mindfuck.
from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm
Oh, we
enjoying
did.
this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're
Nope.
supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will
Something.
save me.
Give me something.
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose
We're
in this
fucked.
place is?
We're fucked. We're fucked.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted
I
to
do
control
want to
this
die like
world,
that.
that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Goodbye.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big
fucking
boom and
dead.
then nothing.
We're fucking
No
dead.
ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the
Goodbye.
joke.
We are
And
dead.
believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Well, that's sad. Well, I just died, champ.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, we're gonna try the other one.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Let's go back over here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk. pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, we're gonna try it this way. Timmy, what's the sub go? So basically, a lot of people I know have sub goals, and I was told to
Stanley
do
walked straight
sub-goal.
ahead through the large door that read
So-
Mind Control Facility.
It was 100, but not 100. It was 90. But someone gifted me subs, so I knew it was 130. If I don't get it,
The
I don't
lights
get it.
rose on
Like,
an enormous room packed with television screens.
I don't expect
What
shit
horrible
of people.
secret did this place hold?
But it's good
Stanley
to have
thought to
something to
himself.
look towards, do you know
Did
what I
he
mean?
have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an
I don't know.
employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to
I have no
images on a
idea.
screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
Undecided.
nothing.
What should I do? I'm open to suggestions.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Did I get an achievement for that?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
To be fair, I do have a face cam.
Yes.
Which I
He
will
had
be
won.
installing.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
But while I'm ill,
And
I
yet,
don't really want to install.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
If that
Where
makes
had
sense.
his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
Ooh.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it
Oh,
will
that's
be.
pretty.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing.
See, I don't know.
Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the
So
way
yeah, I will be
right now,
doing
that things were meant to happen.
that for
Stanley
sure.
was happy.
Ooh. Oh, I beat the game chat. Okay. So we've done that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person.
I
who
want to
had
try and
entered.
do all the
Feeling
endings.
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean?
Also, welcome
Was
to
it a
anyone who's
sign of
stream.
hope for
How we
Stanley's
doing?
future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay. We're doing all these ones first. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's have a look.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Ooh, I don't
Stanley
know.
thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And
That's
Stanley,
so
one of
creepy,
them,
though.
eternally monitored in this place.
Imagine,
where
like, that
freedom
actually
meant
happening.
Nothing.
That'd be freaky as fuck.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Come on, open the doors. Right, chat, you're gonna see something sick. Yes. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing? How's the stream? Yes. You playing A Way Out? Sick game.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
So yeah, we'll play Stanley Parable. Having a chill one.
He spent his entire
Thank you
life
for the follow. I
utterly
appreciate it.
blind.
Damn. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad.
How are we all
or
doing
content.
anyway?
Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible
But yeah,
power
how's
over
A Way
another.
Out? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just having a chilled one. Playing this, trying to get all the endings. But yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
Blackness.
Yeah,
and
it
a rising
has.
chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
What you been up to?
He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many
That's
puzzles
cute.
lay unsolved. Where had
It is a sad game, to be fair.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange...
I did cry as well.
But
I'm
as
not gonna lie.
sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but
Ooh,
to reflect.
okay.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
I bet you're looking forward to your new house. That'll be good.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Okay, okay.
Stanley felt
Let me
the
through the
cool
door.
breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way,
Ooh,
right
okay.
now, that things
So I think
began.
we've done 2 endings.
And Stanley was happy.
Well, I don't know if it's an ending. We've done a secret. I'm trying to get through all the secrets and stuff, chat. Okay, okay. Oh, what, you having issues with it?
Stanley came to a set of
So this is
skills
Stanley. Thank you for the follow.
just to admire.
So this is Stanley Parable. It's such a weird game.
Yes.
I don't know
Really
how
a
to
room
describe
worth
it.
admiring. It had really been, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
But it's a good game.
Stanley was so bad.
There's
at
lots of
solving
different things to
it's
do.
incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
But it is very weird. But yeah, honestly, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration?
But yeah, what's everyone been up to
I'm
anyway?
convinced that I want something bad to happen to you.
I actually don't know where I'm
I don't know how to
going.
convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give
Okay.
me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important.
Okay, what are we
Stanley
doing?
walked through the red door.
Well, we're going blue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Yeah, we
I
ain't.
still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's
This
out
is so
there?
weird.
You'll find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen.
See, yeah, I'm trying to do all the different endings.
You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed
Ooh,
developer
damn.
textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Oh, damn.
Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written
It
out
was, mate.
specifically for you?
It was.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did.
See, I kind of wanted to play this because I keep playing Faz
What you wanted to see.
at
Help me
the
here,
moment.
Stanley. Help elucidate
So I
these
kind of wanted
strange,
something different to
unknowable
game
desires
to
of
play.
yours. What would have made this game
And
better?
this gets your brain
What did you
working.
want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback.
Okay, mate.
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices?
Yes.
Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How
Well,
did I know the
let
game
me through the
needed
door,
a
mate.
door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I
Guys,
felt
this
it in
game's
my
so
soul.
weird.
You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try.
So
Here,
weird.
based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to
Okay.
be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be
I
a
don't care.
lovely
Let me through
opportunity
the
to give it
door.
some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Yeah, no worries. Have a good one. Appreciate you popping by.
In this game, the
Yo,
player
this is
moves left
creepy.
towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
I'm not looking.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience.
That's
for me.
rude, disturbing.
I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
I don't get
since
what
my
the
game's
fuck
so
that
awful,
was.
why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Ooh,
Is
Minecraft.
this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
Yes, I
Well,
can
I'll
deal
say
with
this,
Minecraft.
I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley.
I can't even
I'm
jump.
going to build a house.
And she.
This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see.
That's a
what
beautiful
should be-
house.
Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
That is beautiful.
I made this, Stanley.
To be
Look
fair,
at it.
that's better
Gaze
than what I
upon
could
my
probably
work of
build
art
in
And
Minecraft.
feel ashamed at your own
I haven't played Minecraft in a while.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
How do I mine?
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
That is so weird. They've got Minecraft on there. Also, welcome to anyone who's joined. How are we doing? Do you know what? I actually kind of want to play Minecraft now.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You
What the
trapped
fuck?
in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
What the fuck is this game? I'll be honest, I have not seen this out before.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
Yep, easy. Puzzles is my forte, mate.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser.
I
for
was
the
enjoying
experience.
that.
Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas...
Could you do that? I have no idea where I am. This is very confusing. Man. Or was he like... Okay, so maybe not go that way.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He
This is
needs
so
me.
weird.
Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos
I mean,
and
I
the
don't
fear
need
and the
you, mate.
confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
This game is so
can wait.
fucking weird. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
Welcome to Anyone Who's
Stanley
Shown.
leapt
How are we
from the
doing?
platform and plunged to his death.
Yeah.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I am, mate. I am. Please say what a trophy for that. Wait, what?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took
Okay.
the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really?
Okay.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have
So
zero
we've done this.
consideration
We're gonna
for
do this
others?
again.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all
I want
this
to
time?
see what this does.
The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Okay. This is very weird.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place.
Oh, this is pretty.
Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Oh, this is so pretty.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Goodbye.
No! Oh, thank God. No. No, what are you doing,
Oh,
Stanley?
did I not break
Please,
anything?
I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
Yes.
That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Yes.
Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask.
Yes, it was.
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart.
Oh, this is sad, this
I'm
game.
going back.
This is sad.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
This is Stanley Parable. What do you mean? What do you mean? I was supposed to get this.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Don't cry. It's fine.
Yet there was
And
not
how
a
are you,
single
Bunny?
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find him. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence
still
in a
working.
single moment for no reason at all.
Damn.
None of it made any logical sense. And as
Aw.
Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever
this
he
creepy?
went? And for that matter, these rooms were
Aw, he
starting to
needs
look
to
pretty
rest.
familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after
I
all.
don't know what's going
He
on,
thought to
Chan.
himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon.
Oh, my
I'll
phone's
have to go
died.
back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
This
Now
is
the
so
voice
weird.
was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
This is so
He
weird.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press
This
of
is
the
very
mattress on
weird.
his back, the fresh
Chan,
air
I'll
of the
catch up
world
with you.
outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
Aww.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I
Okay,
am
I can see you chatting again, so if you said
Everything
anything,
will be fine.
I apologise.
I am okay.
You're okay, okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What the fuck? How much
This
work
is the
you got
story
left to
of
do
a woman
today?
named Mariella.
It is a weird game.
Mariella woke up on a day like any
There's
other.
like so many
She
secrets,
arose,
so
got
many
dressed,
different endings.
gathered her belongings, and walked to her place
so
of
weird.
work. But on this particular day, her
Yo,
walk
what?
was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
It is literally a
And
mindfuck,
although
this
she
game.
would soon
That's
turn
what's
to
like,
go
oh,
call
play
for
it.
an ambulance, for just a few brief moments,
So
she
weird.
considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this,
I know,
and in a
right?
certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered
It's
the
so
meeting she
weird.
had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for
I was
this,
just like,
so
what
it
is
was
going
only
on?
a moment that she stood there,
I
staring
genuinely don't
down
know
at
what
the
the fuck's
body.
going on.
And then she turned and ran.
That's very bizarre. See what I mean? It just repeats itself.
When Stanley came to a set of
It's
two
just
open, this
confusing
was
you,
not the
Bunny.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong
No.
foot here. I'm not your
It is
enemy,
very
really, I'm
confusing.
not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
Haven't I just gone this way?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her
Or am I
back
being
into
weird?
your life.
Who the
She's
fuck's
been
her?
waiting.
Wait, haven't I just been this way?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Yo.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Yo. What the fuck is
Gotcha.
this?
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to
Anyone
see
would want to be
something.
my
Come inside.
wife.
Let me show you what's really going on here.
Anyone would love to be my wife, okay? Don't be mean.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh, hello.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Okay.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
This is
Fantastic
very weird.
discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss,
She's hot.
everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Yeah, I was
So
spending
he
time with
went
the boys.
further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Don't know.
As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Yeah.
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
Welcome to anyone who's
And
joined.
down
How
another
we
was
doing?
a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
What the
How
fuck?
could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer
My
he
wife has
spends
left
here,
me.
the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Wow. Wow. That was emotional. Okay, well the room's changed again. But I am gonna read some more. Because why not? So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let's raid someone. Right, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let's go raid, and I'll see you next time.